finally from me, before we open up to other people, over the course of your work, you would have seen some changes in the media landscape. Can you give us the biggest and say the industry that's responded the best to it?
Well, I think social media has been huge. I mean, when I started at Channel 9, I didn't even have an electric typewriter, I just had a typewriter. And, you know, it would change the ribbons. And to try and explain that to my kids and some of the younger reporters now, their eyes
and me as well, don't worry.
Their eyes glaze over because some don't even know what a typewriter is. Some have never seen a typewriter, and to actually try and get their head around the fact that you have to change the ribbon. And I remember when we got our first electric typewriters and had the ball, it was just like, wow, this is sensational, because we had a really tough news director. I mean, it was really tough in the clinches back then, because if you did a script and the boss didn't like it, you'd take it up there and sort of, especially being a young journo, you'd sort of hand it to him, you know, sort of your hand shaking. He'd read it, and then just put a pen through it and say, it's shit, do it again. So you have to go back to the typewriter and make sure. Now, of course, with computers, it's all cut and paste and delete. Social media is by far the biggest change to the media landscape in general. With football, for example, the AFL, like on a Thursday night, or on any given night, all the news first will come via Twitter. Right? The AFL will issue all their media releases via Twitter. The teams all come out via Twitter on a Thursday night. To give you an example of how sport and business, I suppose, as an extension of that, have really embraced social media. When Philip Hughes died, the cricketer, Cricket Australia announced that on Twitter. So, you know, we have actual people in the newsroom now who monitor social media all the time. They will have seen the social media alerts about this night because I was tagged in it. So they don't miss a thing, and we do get a lot of stories off social media. You know, even last night, for example, we found ourselves a little light on for time, so we had a little bit of time we needed to make up, and you can't just snap your fingers at 6:20 and say, look, we need to find another 40-second story. And someone had said, oh, remember Mark Murphy, the Carlton captain, put something on Instagram today? He had his foot in ice in a slow cooker and his dog was drinking the water. And we said, oh, yeah. So we got 35 seconds out of that. And filled it quite nicely. So, yeah, like we watch social media like a hawk. That's not to say we rely on it, but I don't think if we didn't have mobile phones with people taking footage nowadays, we certainly wouldn't have an hour-long news, because we rely on, I mean, the Montague Street Bridge alone has given us endless amount of stories because people have got their mobile phones, and I was driving back from a job and truck went under it and I got my mobile phone out, and so, you know, you become, I think they call them VJs, don't they? Video journalists is what we become nowadays.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I've got a different argument to that, but yes, they do exist, unfortunately.
If someone comes and says, listen, we've got a business and we've now found that we'd like to actually have a playroom for the kids to come into work, but it's far better for the mothers, we get better productivity, etc., etc., etc. So that's the hook.